Who cannot become more tomorrow than they are today? Everybody has that power. So simple. It could be as simple as easy paragraph of a book, one touching thought that opens a new paradigm, a new way of thinking.
Welcome to the Habits to Goals podcast with Martin Grunberg. It's time to take control of your life. Are you ready to achieve goals faster and more consistently than ever before? You need the Habit Factor. You're listening to Habits to Goals, the podcast that helps you create the habits that lead to success. And here is Martin Grunberg.
All righty, here we go. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. My name is Martin Grunberg, of course, host of the Habits to Goals podcast. Today we have, I'm saying this quite a bit these days, another phenomenal guest. This guy is truly an extraordinary visionary and leader, and what he's doing just reeks of vision and courage and leadership, and we're going to get into all of the above. Please welcome to the show David Katz, and that is with a K. David, how you doing today, sir?
Well, Martin, I'm beautiful, and thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you.
I'm just not throwing out hyperbole here. This is very, very sincere intro. I'm blown away at the good work you are doing. And I think it goes to the heart. You know, I'm going to confess, I quickly pulled up your LinkedIn, and what struck me was the final sentence I think is worth sharing. David is a steward of the earth and a champion for the poor. So again, David Katz, one of the great Canadians of all time. It's an honor to have you on Habits to Goals. So customarily, monsieur, we kick this off with a GTR, a good things report. And as is customary, you, as the guest, can go first or defer to me.
You know, Martin, there is nothing to not be absolutely in gratitude for. I am here with you creating abundance. So my good things report is the beauty of being able to share our message and to have people that are passionate and inspired by this, moving this forward. So my good things report is you and the opportunity to connect with anyone who's listening. Wow. And that's my authentic answer.
Well, right back at you, sir. So mine is a little less on the heavy plane, but I'm as I said, I've cranked out a few interviews here earlier. So I'm down to something wonderful. I'm taking it's spring break for my kids, and there is actually a tie-in to your good work. We stay down on the coast in Baja. About 3 days surfing in the beautiful ocean. So that's where, of course, we'll get into the plastic bank and your great work. So that's my GTR. I'm looking forward to that. Head out tomorrow morning. And it's going to be a good one. Hopefully the weather cooperates. So it looks like it might rain a little. As we do, again, customarily, I like to kind of get into some of the backstory. Do you mind sharing, David Katz, like where you grew up, where you went to high school, if and where you went to college, that sort of thing?
You know, I was a very, very solid C student.
Awesome.
College was not elusive, but I grew up in Victoria. I grew up on an island, a little ways away from Vancouver. For those listeners who might not know where it is, but I grew up on the ocean's edge, and that was my playground. That's where I stayed. That was kind of really the origin, perhaps, of where we are today. And what I'm doing today is being acutely aware of what was degrading, what was washing up on the beach. And I've been in this space for decades, where people are just waking up to it. Went to school in Vancouver, went to the British Columbia Institute of Technology. My parents were in the tavern business and hotel business, and my education was in hospitality administration, learning how to execute businesses within the hospitality space, which serves me no purpose today, other than being in a position to learn how to learn. That's all school is.
And service.
And service, absolutely.
Wow.
No question. Right.
And a solid C student, I love that, because I think we probably share that. So at what point do you begin, because I know you have probably a handful of entrepreneurial ventures. Talk about maybe your first foray into the entrepreneurial space.
Well, I was 12.
12.
And I commandeered the family self-propelled Toro lawnmower and began to poster the neighborhood that I was a landscaper for hire. I mean, I've never had a job. I've always been in execution. And I think more importantly, that maybe some of my life's lessons were that if it was to be, it was up to me. I mean, I think that transfers into the bank.
Interesting. Did we lose you here, buddy?
Well, I'm back, so forgive me for that. And that's just been the story moving forward. Is being in this position where I've just been in execution, and the last business, and I was a waiter once as well. But that was somewhat self-employed too. I mean, that was
Sure.
The better, the more that I sold them, the more they'd come back and the more I would make. Now, the business I had previous to this was in GPS tracking, and so we built. We ultimately developed and sold a technology that was embedded inside vehicles that let our clients reduce the costs and time in the delivery of service and product. It was a subscription-based business that we developed over more than a decade, and part of that entrepreneurial experience also included the acquisition and growing an organization that was attractive for acquisition. And in that as well, I got to learn what it was like to not have purpose. I was able to grow myself in an entrepreneurial way that allowed me to grow an organization in my absence. And so I was able to have money. I was able to learn that it wasn't money that I was after in the end, although that's maybe why I began. But that wasn't fulfilling. And I was able to understand what it was like to not be in, which is also part of this journey. So we are really a culmination, a summation of all of the experiences and all of the decisions we've ever made. And people ask me all the time, like, how did you get to where you are? What was it? They're looking for that kind of magic bullet. But authentically, you have to understand that it is everything that you have ever experienced that has gotten you to where you are. And that's the plastic thing.
That's beautiful. And yeah, I think it's Kierkegaard. It says you can only live life forward and understand it backwards. And so when you talk about the culmination of all these varied experiences, and I'm sure successes and failures, and are you at liberty to share the tracking company name? If not,
yeah, it was Nero, Nero Global Tracking.
Okay.
And it's been purchased from ultimately purchased from.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't know if the mic is moving or maybe touching. It's like sometimes you're crystal clear and sometimes not so much. So just not the end of the world. I just want to alert you to that. So that's Nero Global Tracking. How many years did that go on?
11. It's still going. Acquired by a public company, and I think that it's been 15 years now that company's been around. So we started when we had to teach people how to spell GPS. I mean, we started in the days before real navigation and things.
Sure.
So it was a very early story, which also came from a childhood experience where I was rescued at sea, fortunately, from having GPS on a sailboat my father built, and while he was having a heart attack in a 20-foot breaking wave in a 60-mile wind off the northern coast of California, I was able to use a coordinate and then radio that to the Coast Guard calling for a mayday, which ultimately led to our rescue. And then so moving that forward, understanding the power of being able to understand position,
right,
and then being able to transmit that out automatically, regularly, overlaying that on a street map with engine condition and other things would be a very powerful business tool.
Amen. And how old were you when that went down?
At sea with my dad, I was 15.
15?
15, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, great presence.
And the gift in it again was that, and this was a quintessential moment in my entrepreneurial, in my life in general, in the understanding and the knowing that if I was to survive, if I was to thrive, if anything in life, the only thing that I could guarantee in life was my ambition and energy into it. And if it was to be, it was up to me.
I love that.
And if something was to be created, it was up to me.
Yeah.
So that was a gift in that. And all of the terror and all of that and all of the post-traumatic stress and all of that, the gift was that I became independent. I became powerful. I became the creator. Well, listen, we're all the creator. I mean, we are all the creator. We get to create whatever, right? And so I got to recognize that I was the creator.
Yeah, and at the very least, we're co-creators. But I mean,
at the very least,
yeah, at the very least, and the fact that, for lack of a better way of putting it, you're making lemonade out of lemons, and every situation. I mean, God, for your father's having a heart attack, but you're able to look back on it and see the value of GPS and see that there was incredible value in self-reliance and responsibility and ownership. And if it's to be, it's up to me. So, that's just a great mindset for all of us to be perpetually reminded of. So that's fantastic. I so much want to get into the plastic bank, so we're just going to go there now. Share a little bit, because I can't do it justice. Just tell us, what was and I know some of this, but I want you to share it for the listener, the inspiration for the plastic bank and the in many ways, I want to say subtle and I guess not so subtle, but the solution you have crafted, and feel free, just take it away, bud.
The plastic bank is born from the knowing that there is a catastrophe that's been unfolding in the ocean from the inception and idea of plastic, from the very origin of it that has been flowing into the sea. I've not yet met anyone now, today, years ago, when I had the ideas, when I first began, people didn't quite comprehend what was occurring. Today, I've not yet met anyone that has not said, oh my goodness, someone has to do something about what's happening. Look what's occurring in the beaches. Look what's occurring in the bellies of birds and whales and this mass extinction that is being inflicted upon us from plastic.
Right.
And so I've been in the execution of that. What we do is prohibit the flow of plastic from entering the ocean to begin with. Like if you were to walk into your kitchen and the sink was overflowing, spilling all over the floor, you would panic. You'd have a bucket, a mop, and a plunger. What do you do first? And the answer is always to turn off the tap.
Yeah.
Right? So why aren't we doing the same for the ocean? I mean, it'd be pointless to mop or plunge or scoop up the water if we don't turn off the tap first. And that's what we do. We do that by creating an ecosystem that reveals value in waste. There's a variety of models in it. What we most easily exemplify is that one part of that model, what we've grown, is now today the world's largest chain of stores for the ultra poor, where everything in the store can be purchased using plastic cartridge.
That's fantastic.
Everything is available. So school tuition, medical insurance, everything else. Everything.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So everything from food to insurance. And so the plastic bank, my understanding is that this plastic is given a value even above its tradable or recyclable value. So it really incentivizes these people in poorer countries to collect and turn it in. The one part of the model I'm curious of is the funding of it. Is it the corporations? Is like
we
go ahead.
Nothing is sold above the value. We sell social plastic. Social plastic. It's not recycled plastic. It's not virgin plastic. It's social plastic. It's its own category. That's what we've created. We've created a category of material whose value is transferred through the lives of the people who encounter it, rich and poor.
Okay.
And so that social plastic is a material whose value is then transferred for collection. So Martin, here's a question. If every bottle or every piece of plastic packaging you saw,
yep,
all of it, no matter big or small, was worth $5,
okay,
how many would you go collect? How many would be in the garbage can? How many would be in the environment? How many would be at the ocean's edge?
Right.
None. So it's not the material, it's us. It's the value that we've been placing on it. And when we take that material value, and now in the eyes of the poor, it's school tuition. So it's not even the $20 a month that it would be replacing. It's not even the school tuition. What the school tuition does is it provides literacy for their children. So what does literacy provide for the children? It's the end of poverty. You see, so it's not the bottle. They look at it and go, that's the end of the inflicted torture that I've lived in generations.
Right.
It's the end of poverty. See, it's a paradigm shift.
No, and I get that. I misspoke. I understand. I truly understand hashtag social plastic, but what I'm challenged with is where's the funding come from?
Oh, we sell the material. We collect the material and we get it ready for export as a raw material. We sell it to companies like Shell Energy, Henkel, the big German consumer goods company. We've got a whole, just like it's been so profound of late.
So on the
beautiful new announcements coming up.
Right. So on the front end, it's social plastic. On the back end, the engine is still this, and I think that's. So that's what's funding it, is the recycling engine on the back end. You're getting these corporations to reuse this.
Yeah, they buy it. Yeah, and that's what we're doing today. But the model, ultimately this ecosystem, because it actually exhibits itself in a variety of ways. We don't endeavor to continue to build stores. We have built a blockchain banking application for the poor that allows for the safe, authentic transfer of value globally. And so we've created a bank for the unbankable that uses plastic as the input. And so, and that they get to use within their community. They can transfer value around the world. Like even in Vancouver, one of the ways that we connect the entire world in it is that at the bottle deposit locations here, you can take back your plastic, and instead of taking back the dollar or two, you can deposit it in the account of the poor around the world.
Right. I love that.
Right. So that's what we're doing. So even like within our collectors in Haiti, someone could deposit the value of material downtown, and their mother could withdraw cooking fuel across the city.
Right.
A bank. We create a banking platform powered through IBM with a blockchain, so we give the authenticity of the supply chain. And long term, we're just participating in the transaction fee of that. That's where we need to be. We need to return the lowest cost feedstock of material on the planet. Now, in the process of launching this economy, we sell that material, and that we broker. Just the German consumer goods company Henkel is committed to 100 million kilo a year. Right, that's roughly $1 a kilo.
Wow.
Right, and so the business seems to be profound as well. There's money. There's good money in doing good things.
Yeah, and I mean, just from the supply side, where did the first plastic bank go, location-wise?
Well, we started in Peru, and in Peru we learned what not to do. Right, we're in Lima, and when we learned how, we went in, we thought that we would go in, create it, engage the poor, illiterate.
Right.
And it turns out that if they don't know you already, they're highly skeptical, don't trust you. And then you face the mafia and other people and so we learned how not to do that. What we did learn there was that there were organizations around the world already trying to influence the collector market. Wow. And what we needed to do was build a business process and system for them. And the more that we could build a business system and create a franchise type model where people feel connected, build community, where they felt identified, then they'd be more likely to participate. We found an organization in Haiti that was trying to do the same thing. They had, great relationships in the market, but they were bankrupt because they were trying to run it as a nonprofit. And so we took over that infrastructure, continue to build that, brand it, learn it, execute on it, advocate more profoundly for the poor, build more things in a market approach, not just cash, but how do we elicit the rest of the market, not just the abject impoverished, to use recycling. And that's where cell phone minutes came in.
When did the first? When did plasticbank.org just? When was that founded?
Well, I had the idea May the 11th, 2013.
2013.
13, yeah.
And then the first one opens in Peru with various unforeseeable challenges. And,
right.
And what year is that?
That would have been probably January 2014.
Wow.
We went through, we started building this ecosystem. We knew that we had to, have, consumer sentiment. We launched this petition online, like our page. If you think corporations should use, ocean-bound plastic that alleviates poverty, that blossomed immediately. We're able to substantiate the movement, the demand for the material before the, big companies knew that was going to be a thing. I mean, we trademarked social plastic. That took us a couple of years to trademark that globally. That was a large investment as well. We knew that we needed to create a category. We knew that we couldn't play the same commodity place because that wouldn't enliven the poor.
Right, and as you said, you want to create a distinction between this is paradigm shifting. It's not just recycling.
Nope. Right. The whole thing is a paradigm shift.
It is.
All of it is living into possibility. We're, back to, I'm the creator. I mean, the creator lives through me. I'm the, this is the expression of the creator. We're creating something. We're living into the future of possibility that doesn't exist. We have to stand there, and then we invite people into that possibility. That's what this is.
That is a great sentence. Living in the future of possibility and inviting people to join us.
Correct. And we use word to do that.
That is beautiful. So, and just in true entrepreneurial fashion, you're encountering one unforeseeable obstacle after the other. So the natural question is, honestly, I mean, just like I think the listener somebody has to be wondering, what makes you, and I know the answer because we touched on it earlier, but what makes you think you can tackle a challenge so big, and then as you encounter one obstacle after another, how have you not given up?
Well, there's no such thing as obstacles, Martin. Really, I think that, there's a conversation here. I see opportunities to begin again. I see opportunities to change my approach. I learn. And any obstacle that I encounter, I know that's the way I need to go. And if anyone's listening as well, I can assure you that those things that you don't want to do are the things you need to do, period. Think of any phone call you don't want to have. Think of any conversation you don't want to have. I guarantee you that's the most important conversation you need to have. Do those things you don't want to do and your success is almost assured. And so there's no obstacles. And who am I? I am just anyone else. That's the beauty of this. And the power that continues to be elicited inside of me comes from living into the possibility, into the future, not from the past, thoughts in my head, not from what I think other people want. I'm the creation. I create it. That has got no influence. No one else is creating this. I create this. Of course, there's nothing that can stop me.
No, I wanted to give that a nice long pause and let that sink in. That was a fantastic string of consciousness there, and words to live by. So it's beautiful.
Yes, right. And that's just what it was consciousness. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I live consciously.
Yeah. And it's it's called habits to goals, because the idea, just so you know, we consciously craft habits, which by definition are things that we perform with little or no conscious thought, but we can consciously craft those so they serve us largely unconsciously. And just because there's only so much energy in the day, and willpower wanes and that sort of thing. So, but just a fantastic synopsis of, because I think 99.9% of the population look at that problem, maybe over-exaggerating, 99%, and they just say it's way too big. Somebody else will do it. Somebody else will come up with the solution, and you have stepped up. And so when I kicked this off, I said, it reeks of big vision, great leadership. And I want to hear the words of that person and those ideas, and how they can empower and be shared with the listeners.
Let's touch on this. This is important for listeners. And I as well was overwhelmed in the idea. I, like anyone else, had this thought, someone needs to do something about it. And that, I recognized as well, came to me when I lost power, when I recognized I didn't think it could be me, someone else. It didn't come to me because I think that someone else. The thought doesn't. If you think of anything that you would, any grand challenge, anything that you think that there's an injustice, something, and you say someone's got to do something about it, that's not actually what you hear. What you hear is, I'm passionate about it. I want to do something about it. I can't. I don't know how. I don't believe in myself. So I wish it upon someone else. We just miss that whole middle part. So we say someone should do something about it. Now, I heard it as well, but what I was able to receive in that very, very moment, in this grand idea, was that I didn't need to be the person that could change the world. I didn't need to be the person that could influence society or humanity or the environment at all. What I needed to do was become the person who could do it. I needed to only embark on my own journey, my own becoming. And the greater I did that, the more change would appear beside me. Much simpler.
No, again, I'm just sitting here just scratching notes and just like, I just have the biggest smile on my face. So the becoming, as you know, the becoming is our character. Our character is defined literally like the Latin root of habit, and the frequent listener knows this, is habitus, and it means condition or character. That is, our condition and our character at this present moment is the sum total of all our thought habits and all our behavior habits. So what you were saying is, I wasn't worried or focused too much on something out there that people are going to view as this big answer. I was just focused on me becoming something that could rise to the challenge and be part of the solution. That's character. That's leadership. That's vision. That's beautiful.
Thank you. And who can't be more tomorrow than they are today?
Right. Well,
read one page of a book and you are something different.
Beautiful. Say that again.
Read one page of a book and you become something different.
Right. But the sentence you said before that. All right, a quick timeout. Again, thank you so much for joining me and Habits to Goals. I hope you are digging this interview. I want to share with you something pretty cool we've just thrown out there. You can catch this either live or recorded. It's a webinar I put on. It's about 60 minutes. It goes through 9 major tips. It gives you background about the habit factor, a little bit about me, and an overview and intro to something we have put together called the 28-Day Breakthrough. fantastic course, really the goal of which is, it's the old, you don't feed a man a fish or woman, you teach them to fish. And so this is built above, beneath, around the habit factor, really gets in depth with mission, vision, values, some great modules around goals in particular, energy, the mastery mindset. Those are modules that are included. Anyways, check it out. All you have to do is go to thehabitfactor.com/28. That's the number 28 day, DAY webinar. That's thehabitfactor.com/28-day webinar. You can get the info, sign up, and hopefully we'll see you on the inside. And with that, let's get back to this fantastic interview. Cheers.
Who could not become more tomorrow than they are today? Everybody has that power. So simple. It could be as simple as easy paragraph of a book. One touching thought that opens a new paradigm, a new way of thinking.
This is fantastic. Yeah, and that's part of the metamorphosis. I mean, there are three great constants in life, right? Change, choice, and principles. And change, because it's always something is changing, something in our environment's changing. The idea that our metamorphosis, so we could sit on a couch and change, and we will change, maybe just not the way we want, or we can harness that and guide our character, and largely we can do that through our thinking and our behavior. So, but I've never heard it put like that just, and I think it's brilliant, just reading a sentence, getting an idea is part of that metamorphosis. So, and it's ongoing every day. Beautiful.
All the time. The only thing constant is change. You get to choose which way you go.
Absolutely. So now the plastic bank, let's get up to 2018 if we can. And you had a fantastic TED Talk. I believe that was at IBM, right? Oh no, did we lose you? Oh no. I think we lost him. So, all right, we got David back. Slight technical difficulty. David, let's bring it up to 2018 here. The plastic bank originates, it sounds like 5 years ago, which is very short time ago. And now why don't you give us an idea, like how many countries it's in and what kind of the roadmap towards the future looks like?
A lot has occurred in 5 years, including a beautiful chain of stores in Haiti. We're engaging around 11,000 collectors there. We have launched successfully the Philippines. Shell Energy is committed. There are 1,000 gas station locations as collection locations. There'll be an additional 1,000 locations in the Philippines as we continue to grow. We are in Brazil working within Sao Paulo urban implementation, working within cooperatives and favelas. We're just launching into Indonesia and South Africa backends and Ethiopia backends and India backends. So currently Indonesia, the Philippines, Haiti, Brazil, and we continue to grow and expand. And selling, hundreds of millions of kilos of material are committed. And blockchain banking application, and some of the biggest companies in the world. I mean, not only did we have to build out a recycling infrastructure, learn how to communicate with the abject, illiterate, and impoverished, working in areas where my life has been threatened, where people bring guns to negotiate, building all of that, creating an infrastructure for the poor, advocacy for the poor. But we've also had to simultaneously be selling the material, working with some of the biggest corporations in the world, dealing in supply chain, right? And then, trying to move that, plus the logistics behind all of that, while building a brand, while administering and protecting our trademark, while at the same time building and executing over an organization that can do that by growing and hiring. And I've been self-funded. So while managing cash flow, while trying to elicit sales out of big corporations, while working with the poor, it's been a monumental task. And what a gift in my becoming. I didn't see this happening. I didn't see the journey into consciousness. So much came to me in the moment when I had the plastic bag idea. It was so powerful, and I didn't know how powerful. I knew that it was going to be big, but the gift was who I got to become. That's it. I get to be that person. I'm going to be a National Geographic in May. I was introduced by Jane Goodall at the United Nations for being a beacon of hope for humanity. There's 4 documentaries unfolding about us right now where, it's just been so beautiful. It's just so important for the world. And more importantly, what I really want to do is exhibit that anybody can do it. And that it's all up to us, and we're unlimited, powerful, beyond our imagination. And to get there, you have to stop thinking that you're not. Now, that's an actual esoteric and deep thought, but there's a lot in it. You have to stop thinking that you're not the person. And that's a big journey. And that's one well lived as well.
Yeah, it takes a tremendous amount of courage. And so when you're listing that litany, and I'm thinking about the logistics, my first thought is like, how can a listener help you? How can we help you? How can I help you? Like, what does the plastic bank need from us?
Yeah, what we need from everyone who's listening is a few things. First off, be absolutely aware that whatever you buy is what people will make. And whatever you buy is a vote, and you are voting for things. And if you are voting for excessive packaging, that's what they'll provide. If you're voting for single-use material, that's what they'll provide. They will provide what you vote for. The consumer has never been more powerful. The most powerful consuming group in history exists right now. They're listening to you all the time. In that, demand that the materials they use bring benefit and value to the planet. Demand it. Vote for it. Buy those things. You are a cause in the matter as well. Vote for the change that you want to see. And so that's important. Tell them. And then if you want, be even more vocal. Reach out to any brand, any product that you buy. Let them know about social plastic. Tell them that's the material that they should be using. Alleviate poverty. Clean the environment simultaneously. That's what I want to buy. That's what I want to make as a change in my life.
Do you provide, and I want you to keep going, but while I'm thinking about this, do you provide a means, and you have so many things going on, but I know some orgs have pre-written, like email templates and yes.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of resources at plasticbank.org.
Okay,
we launched
fantastic.
a beautiful campaign, this tweet campaign, and wow, that's been so powerful for me. That's been so powerful walking into an organization, a multinational, where they already know about us because people have been tweeting, at Coca-Cola, use social plastic, alleviate poverty with material like that's, and we've had tens of thousands of that type of conversation occur. So tweet that to hashtag social plastic. You use the brand at Coca-Cola, at Unilever, at Ford, at anyone.
That's great.
They're listening all the time.
That's amazing. And to bring it like totally super home, so to speak, what sort of... talk me through just a few simple changes you've made in terms of, consumerism, conscious consumerism, that maybe we can learn from.
Well, I carry my own water bottle, refillable water bottle. I live in Vancouver. I have pristine water. I travel the entire world. I've not yet been to a city where I can't drink the tap water. I've been everywhere. And not one city I can't drink the tap water, and yet people are overwhelmed using plastic bottles for water. Ridiculous. They spend more on tap water than they do on fuel. Ridiculous. Certainly refuse single-use material. Certainly, I carry my own coffee cup, my own refillable coffee cup, and I get a discount at the same time. Why would you ever take a lid? What do you need a straw for? What do you need all of that for? Easy. We don't buy, plastic in our house. Like it's glass containers. It's just simple stuff. It's not dramatic. And I try to stay away from polyester. I try to wear cotton, right? Finer fabrics anyhow, right? Polyester's cheap, right? And my grandmother used to say that only a rich man can afford poor quality things. How true.
Right. Wow.
Buy something good. Have it last. Have it last. Buy good things. Buy good things.
Wow. Unreal. Well, I could do this for another 6 hours, but you've given everybody a really good feel for not only the great man that you are, but the cause, the noble and just cause. And at this point, we got to head round second base towards some of our common, which I know are going to be as enlightening as your other answers, but I have a series of fairly routine questions I like to ask. Are you game?
I'm game.
All right. So number one, actually it's not numbered, but top of my head. How does Katz, how does DK define success?
Oh, that's easy. When I am present in the moment, when I'm here and now, when I recognize that I have arrived and that I am at home, that is success. I have now. And when I am present in now, I have now.
Beautiful. Well, as you know, there are no right or wrong answers here. That's a very, very strong. I love it.
There is that when I can live that way, then I can live consciously in the creation.
Sure.
When I'm present, I am an unlimited possibility in my life, and I can be in the execution of that. And I can be in the power of an unlimited life, not based on something that I think I know or what someone told me or some emotion or something else. I live when I am present fully. Then I have everything that I need as well, because success, when I choose unlimited joy in my life, it's difficult to stay in that realm, but that's my choice. And like, if I don't feel joy, I know that I'm not being present. If I don't feel joy, I'm time bound. Time and pain are bedfellows. If you feel pain, you're living either in the future or in the past. And the future being a sense of salvation, and the past being a sense of identity.
Or you're
present.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. I was just going to make a little joke. Or you're being attacked by a dog.
Sure.
Which is happening in the present.
Right.
As this creative thought leader, really an amazing creator, you've already answered this somewhat, but again, as a stock question, it's not going to hurt to hear it again. How do you battle through tough days where your life was threatened, or something went sideways with one of your banks, or I mean, you got a host of challenges, and you get home and you're spent, you're done. Where does DK go from there?
Well, I'm on fire all the time, and I won't start my day without critical, important elements of my life. Critical elements of my life, to be present, so that I don't live in the thoughts of things. I'm in the creation of things. What can go, what occurs for people when something hits the fan is that they think it's an indication of themselves. They think it means something. They think that someone else will think something bad of them.
I love that. I'm so glad I asked. Yeah, we want to we want to give it some meaning that is totally arbitrary, yet we're buying we're buying into the story.
Totally. You chose it. You chose a story that it means something bad or something. Okay, you chose. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. You chose it. Just be in the recognition you chose it. If you want to choose that, choose it.
Yeah.
But then be powerful in the choosing.
And if you're going to choose something, I guess my question is, why not make it an empowering?
Amazing. It's totally empowering. That's why I say everything's a gift. It doesn't matter what I encounter. It's a gift.
It's a choice.
I look at it. Wow, what a gift. What am I receiving here? Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
It doesn't mean that there's not pain. It doesn't mean that there's things that go on that don't hurt. It doesn't mean that there's not emotion. Got it. But I use my thoughts. I don't let my thoughts use me. Two totally different. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking back at my former C student. Yeah.
Yeah. Something happened again. So
my phone and my youngest has been trying to call me.
Got it. Well, we're close. We're approaching third, and we're heading home.
Awesome.
So you're talking to your C student self.
Yeah.
And what advice are you giving him? Life advice.
Oh, wow, the life advice of my C student. The life there's so broad. I'm gonna go in a different direction for other people, maybe
sure.
New entrepreneurs, new people. I think it's very important that you only take advice from people who you aspire to be like. I like it.
Yeah, and advice, I guess, ultimately is pretty cheap. Experience is
totally. Right? And I mean, there's a lot of well-meaning people. I mean, there's a lot of depth in that thought too. And like, even your parents are well-meaning. They're amazing. They love you, and they're like, you should do this, you should do that. But if you don't aspire to be like them, they are not in the position to give you advice.
Sure, and it of course depends on the subject and all.
Of course,
all
but
the
if
other,
they are, then great. But it depends on the subject and other things. But choose wisely. Choose where you influence yourself. You become that you surround yourself with.
Yep, inside and outside.
Right.
The environment and your thoughts. All right. So name and I don't want you to get too caught up in the term here, but name 2 or 3 habits that are instrumental in your success.
Continuous improvement. Always be focused on the journey, right? The journey is the destination, period. Be in it, right? So very important. And resign yourself to the gift of that.
Beautiful.
But it is. Life is a gift. And certainly, begin with the end in mind. Begin with what it is you want to accomplish and work yourself backwards. Begin with the end in mind, truly begin with the end in mind. And that is of self as well. What do I look like? What do I feel like? Who am I? What do I stand for? And then being just in the continuous journey, this continuous self-improvement to be there. Yeah. And I think most importantly as well is that you have now, only now, to not defer, to not believe that joy will occur in the future at some other place under some condition, to know that nobody can give you joy. It's not possible. Only you can choose to be in joy. And that certainly is relevant when it comes to a spouse or other relationships. How many people leave a spouse because they say, I don't feel in love anymore?
Yeah. Amen.
What a loss. What a shame.
Yeah, it's not out there.
That's right.
And
I could go on.
Those
are good for now.
That's. I want to circle back on number 2 because I don't think necessarily everybody gets this, and I know I didn't for the longest time. Begin with the end in mind, but then go through that circle of wellness. The main categories: body, mind, spirit, social. What do you want that to look like? Begin with the end in mind, and then work backwards. So, meaning to the now, and then what are the behaviors, what are the habits that are going to help me get there? Right. So absolutely fantastic. Is there a habit you're trying to kick? Something you're, this is optional. Some people don't necessarily want to answer this.
I have to resonate on that for a minute. I don't know. I've got a daily meditation practice. I exercise every day. I don't drink. I don't eat sugar.
Wow.
I pay attention to my energy. You know, I've got to have a high level of energy for the world. It's important. I need to continue to be sharp.
I got a question for you. I'm just going to skip that. Why do you meditate?
Meditation gives you the space in between your thoughts and the present. Because what meditation does, it helps you recognize that you're not your thoughts. You're the one who hears your thoughts. There's a difference, a profound difference. Your thoughts are your ego mind. They're just thoughts. It's the brain. What the brain does is have thoughts. That's what it does. It's just having thoughts all the time. But that is not you. That is just an organ in your body. Meditation creates the space so that you can recognize when you're in thought, so you can come back to the present and to be in the power of your creation, into the possibility. If I want to truly live into the possibility, I live out of the possibility, out of my present mind, out of the present, not out of thoughts. So meditation brings me back and gives me the power to be present. That's all it is. It's nothing mystical.
Right. No, I love it because it's it's truth be told, I heard it on another show, and it's the first time I've ever asked it, because it's actually a very common habit of my guests, and so I figured
it is a common habit of those who have success and joy in their life.
It seems to be.
Yeah.
No.
And again, it's not mystical. People think, oh, meditation, I'll go in, I'll see some vision. No, it's not about that. It's about creating a space when you're not in thought, to recognize when you're in thought, and you can come back and you watch your breath, and just watch your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. And it takes you away from thinking. The moment that you stop thinking, you become present.
Yeah.
And the more that you can do that, and the more powerful that you can come back, as soon as I have a thought, I can come back to being present, so my mind doesn't get carried away.
Yeah.
That's where we get all the fear and everything else. That's when it starts to run away. It's like, oh no, this is going to mean that, and then this, and then that, and oh, you're going to be bankrupt tomorrow, or whatever. Those are just thoughts.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So we are coming close to home. Couple of your favorite books, transformative books you maybe, perhaps gift to other people.
I continuously gift the 7 Habits Highly Effective People, Dr. Stephen Covey. That's a critically important book.
It is critically important.
Critically important.
Love
critically
that
important book. Yeah, critically important. It's really a philosophy. Everyone in my organization has to know the book, read the book. We discuss the book. We make it a study.
I'm just laughing because for I don't know 10 years, every Monday morning, it's just I would literally quiz the guys and make them recite the habits.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's just so funny.
Awesome. Wow. And then The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer, beautiful book.
I lost that. What was that?
The Untethered Soul.
Untethered. Somebody else has mentioned that.
Oh, Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. Oh, go get that. Go listen to that right away. So important. So beautiful. Just it's this conversation which we're having about the thoughts and all of those things. So powerful to be in the Untethered Soul, a beautiful book. And I go through about a book a week, So, when I'm driving, I'm listening. So, why would you, given the opportunity to arrive somewhere smarter than when you left, why would you not do that?
That's such a great line. I got to work that into my Audible trial commercial. given the opportunity to arrive somewhere better than when you left. Wow. Any other book? It's cool if nothing comes to mind.
Give me a realm. Give me a topic. I'll give you, I've probably have 1,000 books in my library.
Personal development.
Well, that's The Untethered Soul. That's the Power of Now. That's The New Earth. That's
fine. Got it.
Yeah, personal development. Personal development. I think to personally develop, you have to unlearn. Again,
Power of Now is a good one. We haven't rolled in, and I'm a fan of that one for sure. All right, so that brings us to any tech tool, gadget, website, something you are very fond of, utilize a lot, other than the phone itself.
Wow. I don't know. I love Audible. Does that count?
Yeah, you bet it does.
Audible's profound as well. Again, back to the conversation. Like,
Right.
I now have an opportunity. If I'm in a commute 30 minutes each way and I can go through an hour of a book a day, and a good quality book is 5-6 hours, and I can go through a book a week. And then if I listen to a book that's been spoken by the author, and I can have a conversation with the author, and I can listen to the nuance and the importance over elements. But what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Or I can listen to the radio, or I can listen to the news, or some fake BS. You kidding?
Fake news. Yeah, audible.com. I love it. All right. Well, that officially helps us button this up. But before I let you go, sir, I want to thank you for the educational and enlightening and entertaining experience. And at the same time, offer you the chance. Of course, we're going to link to your website. But if there's anything we can do further that we haven't somehow covered, to support you or link to go to or something, please do share.
Martin, I want to leave you with my favorite quote.
Please do.
It reads, "We have the opportunity to choose who our children's parents will be."
Yeah. Awesome. I started going into some like heavy math, and then I realized there's no math there. That's
we have the opportunity to choose who our children's parents will be.
Yeah.
Who do you choose if for no one else other than your children? Wouldn't you want them to be a coach? Wouldn't you want them to be wouldn't you want them to be beautiful and loving and patient? Wouldn't you want them to be in service? Wouldn't you want them to advocate for the poor? Wouldn't you want them to be benevolent and generous?
Yeah.
Who you would choose?
Yep. We have 3 rules with our kids. Responsible, kind, and grateful. Just trying to keep it on a very simple level.
That's all beautiful. Well, that's you.
Well,
you got to be responsible, kind, and grateful for them to be.
Responsible, kind, and grateful. Well, sir, again, it was an honor, privilege, and pleasure. I thank you for making the time. I thank you for leading the charge.
Thank you.
I probably, you may be hard pressed, you don't know this, but to find anybody who spends more time in the ocean than myself. So on behalf of me and my efforts and my energies, thank you so much for
pleasure.
Getting after it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, Martin. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, say goodbye to the listener, and we will circle back later. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Cheers. Today's episode is brought to you by Audible.com. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from. If there's one thing I know, and I think Jim Rohn was the one who said this originally, in 5 years, the difference in your life will be largely based upon 2 things: the books you've read and the relationships you have fostered. Doesn't it make sense to take advantage of the downtime, whether you're on the road, on a run, in the gym, kill a couple birds with one stone, get a book going? It's phenomenal. The more people I turn on to it, the more compliments I get. Not that I've actually done anything. 180,000 titles to choose from. You get 1 free book a month, 30% off any other book. Again, check it out. audibletrial.com/habits to goals. I'm going to say that again real quick. audibletrial.com/habits to goals, and that is the number 2. And of course, when you support our sponsors, you are supporting the show. So thank you again. I am extremely grateful. We'll see you at the next episode.